they was out there saying that like I haven't talked about the Bills this much this week. And that pains me because y'all know I bleed blue. I mean, I had a conversation with Jim. I was like, Jim, you couldn't do it in the 90s, even though I struggled watching you for 4 years go to the Super Bowl and lose. I had to sit in silence. Probably shed a couple tears in my Bills starter jacket. And now I got my man Josh Allen, who's on the cover of Madden 24, which I picked up just because he's on the cover, because that's just how much of a Josh Allen fan I am. But this is the man that is obviously going to the Super Bowl. So, Josh, I'm going to need you to get it together. I'm going to need you to ball out this year and prove to the league why you are the next GOAT, why you are who we look up to, why you are our quarterback, Allen. Don't ever act like I don't bleed blue. Don't act like Thurman Thomas wasn't my favorite running back for years. Don't act like Bruce Smith was my favorite defensive player. Don't act like Mr. Andre Reed, whose jersey I'm going to be giving away on Monday Night Football when we start the regular season for the Bills. I don't have it in my hand like I'm not giving it away. Don't you ever say that Jay ain't about his Bills, because I'm about my Bills. Let's go. Make sure you guys smash that thumbs up. Let's get it going. Shout out to all you guys for rocking with me tonight. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Turn on that bell. Click that bell. Turn on your notifications. That way you don't miss a stream, miss content, and more. All right, so tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into the preseason schedule. We're also going to go ahead and get into some news for the day and chop it up with you guys. Shout out to Bob, says, Jay, those days are over. Stop it. Cut it out. With that said, shout out to the Wrench Gang. Shout out to the family, all the listeners, all the watchers as we get started with the show. I hope you guys enjoyed last night. We had a great night with the Hall of Fame game, Jets and Browns. It was crazy. I did predict the Browns would win. They took it, so I'm 1 for 1 right now. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty good about myself starting off this football season. So, all right. Let's go ahead and get into these stories. So there was a recent video with Mr. And you'll like this one, Bob. Mr. Stephen A. Smith on McCarthy comparing Dak to the quarterback greats. I can't wait. I cannot wait to hear this one. Let me turn my volume up just a little bit, so I can hear it with you guys.
S.A., what are your thoughts on what McCarthy just said?
I don't care. I really, really don't. Y'all are not. You could try it. Oh, here we go again. So Dak Prescott has grown, and Dak Prescott. I mean, when you look at him right now, the similarities to Aaron and Brett and Joe Montana. How many years?
Wait. I don't care how hard of a diehard Cowboys fan. You cannot compare Dak Prescott to Aaron Rodgers or Joe Montana. You can't even put them in the same sentence. What are we doing?
Prescott been in the National Football League, Ryan Clark. This is 8th or 9th year. I don't have the numbers in front of me. Is it the ninth, entering his 9th year, right?
I think
ninth year?
Yeah,
I think it's 9th. I think it's 9th.
He knew it was his 9th year.
And Ryan Clark, how many playoff games in today's game do you have to win to get to the Super Bowl in the postseason?
2.
Minimum two.
it would be 3 or it could be 2.
It would be 3, right? It could be 3 or it could be 2, depending on whether you got a wild card game, right? That's just to get to the Super Bowl. You got to win 3 to win the Super Bowl, or 4, 3 or 4, okay? Dak Prescott has 2 playoff victories in 8 years. Jalen Hurts showed up on the scene.
Listen, with all intents and purposes, shout out to you, Bob. Even the diehard Cowboys fans want a different quarterback, right? So to compare Dak to the greats is kind of like a slap in the face to the greats themselves. Okay, could Dak have been a good quarterback? Sure. Was he ever going to be a great quarterback? I don't think so. Like Stephen A. said, 2 playoffs in the last 9 years. So I'm not a hopeful. It's funny because I was looking at this meme earlier. They're already sharing Cowboys eliminated from the playoff memes. They're already sharing them. It's every year. And it's really sad when they can start sharing those memes before the season starts. And it's a real high probability that it becomes true. So, yeah. It's an interesting conversation. It is a hot take. But obviously, McCarthy is going to believe in his quarterback, right? He wants to hype him up. He wants to show him that he still believes in him so that he can potentially lead these Cowboys to the promised land. But hey, that's just how it goes when you're comparing these quarterbacks to the greats. All right, next story. Let's get into Mr. Alvin Kamara. Now, if you aren't familiar, he basically pleaded no contest in regards to his Las Vegas assault situation. So if you weren't familiar with that, that was about a week or 2 weeks ago, in which he pleaded no contest. He had a meeting with Roger Goodell in regards to, obviously, his future with the Saints and what's going to happen as far as his suspension. So we're going to go ahead and get into this story.
Definitely a bad decision, but I'm a man. Everything I've ever done in my life, I stood on, and I can take accountability for it, and I can say when I'm wrong. And I was completely wrong, embarrassed the Saints, embarrassed my family, my mother, embarrassed myself, embarrassed the city, and the Shield, obviously, embarrassed the NFL. So, I just tried to do my best to kind of keep it as much away from the media and as much away from the team as I could. Obviously, it's hard to do that when, you got such a incident like that. So, I'll be lying if I said it wasn't tough. I've lost a lot throughout this ordeal. Definitely not looking for any pity, not looking for somebody to give me a pat on the back and say it's okay.
Well, that's because you're supposed to take accountability for the things that you do. And I respect him for doing that because, a lot of players don't. They'll just move on and they won't take accountability for the things that they do. But you can clearly see there is some level of remorse there for what happened, and I'm sure he's obviously looking to put it past him and put it behind him so that he can move on with his career. But let's get into the story. New Orleans Saints running back Alvin Kamara and the Indianapolis Colts cornerback Chris Lemons have been suspended for the first 3 games of the season for their role in the 2022 fight in Las Vegas, the league announced Friday. Both players can participate in the preseason and are eligible to return to the active roster Monday, September 25th. So that's about 3 weeks into the season, which 3 games, so yeah, it's not too bad. Kamara will miss the Saints' home opener against the Titans in Week 1, which now that's definitely going to change. Like I said, we're going to approach Week 1. We're going to have to do our predictions again, but that's going to change things as far as how I look at that game. And also the away games against the Panthers and Green Bay Packers. Not too much worried about the Panthers specifically, but the Packers might give them some trouble if they don't have a decent run game. So, continuing on, says, poor judgment on my end, definitely a bad decision, but I'm a man, Kamara said after practice Friday before the suspension was announced. Anything I've ever done in my life, I've stood on and I can take accountability for. I can say when I'm wrong, and I was completely wrong. I embarrassed the Saints. I embarrassed my family and my mother. I embarrassed myself. I embarrassed the city. Yada, yada, yada. You guys know. He embarrassed everybody. Then Kamara met with the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell earlier this week to discuss Kamara's side of the story. And Kamara said he was grateful for the opportunity. He said he felt as though he was finally able to put the incident behind him after the meeting. It's hanging over you. It's hanging over you. And obviously it's self-inflicted, but nonetheless, it's like a dark cloud. Kamara said it's hard to enjoy the smaller things. Today I had a boost at practice. I just felt better. like a weight was off me. I'm just looking forward to focusing on football. My thing is this, right? Why don't you just focus on football before these kind of things happen, right? Why is it always we have to like have things happen and then realize why it's important to pay attention to the things that we need to? Like playing football if we're a football player. Maybe we shouldn't be beating people up or putting ourselves in situations to where we have to beat people up. Now, I get it. Sometimes things are going to happen that's out of your control. But if you're an elite running back and you've been in the league for a while, I'm sure you've got some kind of presence of security. So they're going to basically be able to take care of things for you if you're ever in those kind of situations. But to go out of your way specifically and put yourself in this situation is basically you just not making the right decisions overall. So, yeah. Shout out to Immortal, says somebody wrote that for him, y'all. Yeah, you know how that goes, man. It's the PR team. Goes in to say, I'm not glossing over the situation and downplaying it in any way. It was poor judgment on my end, and it was obviously unfortunate. It just got to be a thing where I'm mature, take ownership of it, and make better decisions. Kamara said he doesn't expect New Orleans to lose anything when he's out. The Saints will turn to running back Jamal Williams, who signed with the team in free agency, after leading the league with 17 touchdowns last year while with the Detroit Lions. New Orleans also selected rookie Kendre Miller in the third round of the 2023 NFL Draft. So, yeah, I mean, are they going to be hurt? To a degree. I mean, you definitely want Kamara back there. But they've got some solid backups that are basically going to go ahead and, be able to hopefully fill his shoes until he comes back. So, Mr. Kamara suspended for 3 games. Moving on. We got a few more stories, and obviously we'll get to the preseason schedule predictions, ladies and gentlemen, for your 2023 NFL preseason. Make sure you guys smash that like that thumbs up. It is much, much appreciated. We're at, 15 likes now? Let's try to get to 20. Need 5 more likes, 5 more thumbs up. Shout out to you guys. Mortal says, did the Lions bet on themselves? That's what it sounds like. That is what it sounds like. So next up, Johnny Manziel. There was a story. A new documentary that came out in regards to Johnny Manziel. Says he attempted suicide after Brown's release. Looks like he was going through a lot more than what we were led on to. We knew the party life. We knew, the rhetoric of Johnny Manziel. But it goes a little deeper. So let's go ahead and get into this one. In a new documentary, Johnny Manziel says he attempted suicide after Cleveland Browns cut him in 2016. And Netflix's Untold Johnny Football, the 2012 Heisman Trophy winner, said the following. The 2015 season, he began using Oxycontin and drugs daily. I'm trying to keep this as PG as possible, but it gets you see what's going on here. According to multiple reports, and dropped from 215 pounds in January to 175 in September. Yeah, that's crazy. 40 pounds? And not in a healthy way? That's not good. Manziel faced a misdemeanor assault charge after being accused of hitting and threatening his then girlfriend in January 2016. His lawyers reached an agreement with the officials to dismiss the charge upon set conditions. The Browns cut Manziel in March 2016. Manziel said in the documentary, according to multiple reports, that he was later diagnosed with bipolar disorder, that he refused to enter rehab, and that he began self-sabotaging, going on a $5 million bender before attempting to end his life. This is absolutely wild. Now listen, I'm going to say some things here, and I'm probably going to make some people mad. But it's okay because I'm fine with that. And I'm fine to have a conversation about it, whether by email, message, DM, whatever. Post, comments, whatever. There has to be a level of understanding within yourself as an individual, right? When you start off as a kid, obviously your parents are there to raise you, to guide you, to lead you, and try to push you in the right direction, right? You have your teachers, you have your counselors, you have your family, all these people around you that basically want to see you succeed. They want to see you be a good person, and they want to help you excel at life. Now, obviously, when you get to a certain age, you're responsible for yourself, right? Everything that you've learned up until this point is what takes you to this life. And then you get to this life, and you're basically handed the NFL. You're in a position that millions of other people that will never get, even though it's in their wildest dreams, and they would love to be there. And then you squandered it. And then you felt bad for yourself. And then you had a woe was me moment because you lost it all. Because you didn't do what you needed to do to go out there and be great and compete and win. Because you thought it was a party and because you thought it was just a good time. Because you thought you were still in your college days. And this is the problem with people not taking accountability when it comes to themselves and what they do. It's really easy. If you understand that you have something great, why squander it? Once again, it goes back to what I said earlier with the Alvin Kamara story. Why does it take these kind of things to happen for people to actually look and say, oh, you know what? I had something great. I shouldn't have messed it up. Shout out to Immortal. Irresponsible. Let's keep it going. I had planned to do everything I wanted to do at that point in my life, spend as much money as I possibly could, and then my plans was to take my life, Manziel said in the documentary. According to multiple reports, I wanted to get as bad as humanly possible to where it made sense, and it made it seem like an excuse and an out for me. So let me self-sabotage to the point where I feel comfortable enough to go ahead and end everything. I'm going to hurt everybody around me by doing this because they're basically going to see me go on a downslide in my life. And I'm not going to care about their feelings or emotions and you know how I can reflect on them from my own decisions. This is a selfish person. Not only irresponsible, but selfish. We'll keep going. Manziel said he purchased a gun months earlier with the plan to use it to carry out his death. But when he pulled the trigger, the weapon malfunctioned. Still to this day, don't know what happened, but the gun just clicked on me, he said in the documentary, according to multiple reports. Manziel's relationship with his family became strained in part because he refused to seek treatment after the attempt. He left Los Angeles and returned to his family's home in Texas. It's been a long, long road, and I don't know if it's been great or it's been bad. It's kind of still for debate, his father, Paul Manziel, said in the documentary. According to multiple reports, but we're blessed. And he's still with us, and we commend all the fences still. I think Johnny's got a lot of better days coming than what he's had. Manziel obviously was the first-round pick for the Browns in 2014 after a standout career at Texas A&M. Untold Johnny Football is scheduled for release on Netflix Tuesday. So there you go. Listen, it's very difficult to have real conversations, right? Obviously, we would hope that every day is just a happy day and every day is just a positive and uplifting time. But sometimes we have to have these conversations. Sometimes we have to be real about certain things. We have to be real about addiction. We have to be real about making stupid choices. We have to be real about putting people in uncomfortable situations because they chose to be there. That's just the reality of it. This man had the world on his shoulders, and he chose to squander it away. And then, obviously, when it goes away, I feel bad for myself now. I'm sorry for myself. I'm losing it all. I don't know what I'm going to do. We see it time and time again in the entertainment industry. Musicians, entertainers, actors, you name it. But the bottom line is this. If you appreciate something and you understand the value of it and you respect what's given to you, you're going to treat it like it's gold. You're going to treat it like it's the best thing you've ever had in your life. Because you're not going to have to look back and regret the decisions that you made when it comes to your life. And that's the bottom line. And that's where I'm going to leave it. In the end, I do hope Mr. Manziel changes his life around and gets better. Bob says, Jay, I'm not you. What you just said brought tears to my eyes. Bob, you know I keep it real, man. I don't sugarcoat it, man. Especially when we get into these real topics. It's just the reality of it. Immortal says Yannick respects himself, his creator, his coaches, his body. That's why he's still in the league, not Johnny Manziel. Sheila says Henry Ruggs' story should be a lesson for sure. These young players, but it's still happening. Listen, it's never going to change, right? There's always going to be temptation. There's always going to be influence, peer pressure, all that kind of stuff that comes into play, And obviously that's not to say like people should need to be perfect, right? Because we're in an imperfect world. I'm not perfect at all. But I think after so many years of me understanding, even at a young age, what being responsible was, what being stable is and what having a mind is and how to use it, you start realizing that you have to make better decisions than the majority of people that you're around. How are you going to be a leader if you can't lead yourself? Let's make it make sense. Shout out to Jeff King. Man, you guys are getting deep with me tonight. Jeff King says, speaking as a former cocaine addict, I can say this much. I have suffered from depression my whole life, never realizing it till I was finally diagnosed in the early 2000s. I was self-medicating. You know what? And I respect you, Jeff King, for even coming out and saying that, because a lot of people don't have the heart to. You've been a channel supporter of mine for a long time now. And, I'm glad that you figured it out. I'm glad that you made it out of that path, because a lot of people didn't. A lot of people chose to stay stuck in that route. They chose to make the excuse to stay there. They chose to make the excuse to keep the flaw, to keep self-medicating instead of moving on and becoming greater. And you chose to come out great. And not only myself, but I'm sure that everyone here on the channel is proud of you, man. And I'm glad to have you here as a member of the family, 100%. So, shout out to you. Shout out to all you guys. You guys are coming in hot today. This is what it's all about. Tennessee Tactical says, Jay, September 2007, I never took another drink. My second child was coming. I knew my sister deserved better. That's real, man. Your son deserved better. That's real. That's as real as it gets, man. Like, without a doubt. These are the kind of stories that help you open your eyes to being able to get ahead, to being able to really reflect on your past and the things that you had to overcome, so that you can not only share your stories for others, so that you can be great and coach them and help them through whatever struggles they're going through. So I definitely appreciate both you and Jeff for bringing those up, because it's heavy stuff. And I'm glad both of you guys decided to get away from the struggle. Shout out to both of you. Let's keep it going. All right. NFL suspends Chiefs Charles Omenihu for 6 games. Kansas City Chiefs defensive end Charles Omenihu has been suspended by the NFL for the season's first 6 games because of a violation of the league's personal conduct policy. Omenihu, then with the 49ers, was arrested in January, San Jose, California, on suspicion of misdemeanor domestic violence, according to San Jose police. A woman who identified herself as Omenihu's girlfriend said he pushed her to the ground. Omenihu, who signed with the Chiefs this offseason, can continue to practice with the team at training camp and play in the preseason games. He will be eligible to return in the regular season for a Week 7 game against the Los Angeles Chargers at Arrowhead Stadium. Omenihu, 25, joined the Chiefs this offseason as a free agent after 4 NFL seasons split with the Houston Texans and the 49ers. He was in the Chiefs' starting lineup at training camp, though he did not practice the past 2 days because of a calf injury. This man was balling for the 49ers. Obviously, if you weren't familiar with what happened, he had a domestic situation with his girlfriend. She basically said that he beat her up. It was a big thing last season, and whether or not he was actually going to be able to play was in question, but they did still let him play, and then it was kind of went back and forth about it. But obviously, we're on now. He's been traded to the Chiefs, or he signed with the Chiefs, and he's now getting his punishment for that situation. The Chiefs picked a defensive end in the first round in each of the past 2 drafts. Purdue's George Karlaftis in 2022 and Kansas State's Felix Anudike-Uzomah this year. The Chiefs are without their top defensive lineman, tackle Chris Jones, who was holding out from camp while seeking an improved contract. So he's looking out for more money, but they're going to figure it out, I'm sure. So that's also your news on Mr. Charles Omenihu. Sheila coming through says, I lost my daughter to drugs and I fight every day, but my faith keeps me going. Will never understand no matter how many meetings I've went to. She went to UF, had everything going for her, chose wrong. You know, some of you know and some of you don't know. I was previously married. And my wife passed away from committing suicide. And that was probably one of the hardest times of my life because I was beating myself up, thinking that there was something that I could have changed, something that I could have did different, something that I could have said different. And I went through therapy, and after hours of conversations, hours of discussions, hours of, praying to God and really just trying to have a better understanding as far as life, I came to realize that there was nothing that I could do. And it's really tough because these series of life events is what shape and mold you. They change who you are. They create different obstacles and they create different emotions and you really have no idea what's going to happen the next day. So when I have these conversations and someone brings up these kind of things, it definitely takes me back to that, because I think we can all share a level of pain throughout life's issues and life's problems. So how do you move on from it? Well, you understand it. You break it down. You understand that God has a plan for all of us. And sometimes we may not understand that plan, but eventually it'll explain itself. And if we're going down this hole, we're going down this path, we may not figure out what that plan is while we're alive. We may not figure out that plan until we die. But obviously, it's a part of the journey that you're on. And how you adjust to it, how you live through it, how you get through it, is what defines your character. So there it is. Man, this is a deep one tonight. Tactical, yeah, this is the heaviest show ever. This is probably the heaviest show that I've had. So, but hey, that's what it's all about. It's about, real discussions, real conversation. And at the end of the day, if we're not able to talk like this, then what's the point? Sports is fine. Laughing and joking is fine. But if we can't sit down and have a real conversation about life and discussion and stuff like that, then it's not real. At least to me, it's not real, It's not always going to be a good day every day. But you guys know I try to bring you positive experiences and a positive environment as much as I can. But sometimes we have to address these serious conversations. And it just so happened that Johnny Manziel's situation brought out what it needed to. So hopefully someone who watches this or someone who is listening, who's ever going through whatever they're going through, who didn't want to share or who didn't need to share, can make better decisions and maybe be able to cope with whatever they're going through a little better, because they see that someone else got through it and they're doing okay and they're doing fine. All right. Deep breath. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the preseason predictions, ladies and gentlemen. Tough show. This was a tough show. Hardest one that we've ever done, for sure. Next week, we are starting preseason week 1. Obviously, we got through the Hall of Fame game shooting yesterday. It was a great time. You guys know we were super hype about it. I loved every minute of it, even though it was a flag fest in a preseason game. But hey, we're going to take it because it's football. Browns took the win by 5, winning 21-16. I called it. 627 votes on the poll, and 65% said the Jets. A lot of people got let down, and I'm assuming a lot of money was lost yesterday as well. Because, you know, first game of the season, people are trying to make that bread. So, we're now on to week 1, which starts next week for the preseason, which we got to wait a whole nother week for football. But the good thing about it is we've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I'm ready. So, Thursday, August 10th, we've got the Texans and the Patriots. That starts at 7 p.m. After that, it's going to be the Vikings and the Seahawks. That's going to be at 10 p.m. I'm going to go ahead and take the Patriots for the 7 o'clock game. And then I'm going to go ahead and go with I'm going to take the Seahawks for the preseason on Thursday. I'm going to go against the grain. I went against the grain against those Jets. I'm going to do the same thing here for these Vikings and Seahawks. So I'm going to go ahead and go Patriots and then Seahawks for Thursday. Getting into Friday, we've got a bunch of games actually. Friday, August 11th, we've got the Giants. Then the Giants against the Lions. Then we've got the Steelers against Tampa Bay. Green Bay against the Bengals. Falcons against the Dolphins. Commanders against the Browns. And then the Broncos versus the Cardinals. So, I'm going to have to go with these Lions. I've been thinking about where they're going to go. I've been looking over certain things as far as with the trades, their running game, their system, their defense. I'm going to have to go ahead and go with the Lions for that one. I'm going to take the Steelers for the next one. I'm going to go Bengals. I'm going to go Miami. I'm going to go Browns again. I'm going to get Browns back-to-back. I think the Browns are definitely here to surprise. I'm going to give the Broncos this one at 10 p.m. as well. So I'll give the Broncos that one. And then getting into Saturday, we've got Tennessee versus the Bears. I think this would be a good one. I'm going to have to give the edge to the Titans if Justin Fields is not playing. If Fields plays, then I think I'm going to have to go with those Bears. So it all depends on whether or not Fields is actually going to be on that field. You get it. Next is Colts and Bills. Y'all know I'm going my Bills Mafia. That's automatic. Next will be Jets and the Panthers. I think Jets are definitely going to come out fired up. They're not trying to lose 2 in preseason. After that, it's going to be Jags and Dallas. That's going to be a good one. That's going to be a real good one. I think on this one, I'm going to have to go with Dallas. I'm going to have to go with Dallas because their secondary is a little bit better than their second string. Is a little bit better than Jacksonville's. Obviously, then we got the Eagles and Baltimore. So another good one. I'm going to have to go Eagles here. Followed up by the Chargers and the Rams. I'm going Chargers. I have no faith in those Rams. And then we will end Sunday or end week 1 preseason Sunday, August 13th with your Kansas City Chiefs and the Saints. I'm going to go Chiefs. And then those 49ers and the Raiders. And I'm going to take the 49ers. And that will wrap up preseason week 1. So obviously we'll do these each week as they go by up until we get into the regular season. Then we'll do week 1. And you guys know how we do, but I'm just going to break it down each week as we go. But that is going to be week 1 for your preseason. And I'm excited. So as far as what I'm going to stream, because I know you guys are asking that question. Jay, what are you going to stream? We need to know. So I'm thinking I'm definitely going to do one of these games at least. It's definitely going to be the Houston and Patriots game. I'll see what's going on as far as my schedule for the 10 o'clock one. If I could do both back-to-back, I will, but I'm definitely going to do Thursday at 7. Friday, I'll probably do the Green Bay and the Bengals. I'll do that one. Saturday, we got the 1 o'clock Titans and the Bears. Or if, obviously, I'll try to get the Bills. Y'all know I got to get Bills Mafia. We got to get some Bills games in. So I'll figure that out. And then Sunday's football day. So we got to do KC and those 49ers. So we'll try to squeeze in as much as we can as we get back to the football season. So Mordo says, y'all know Fields is playing? I don't know. He might not play. You know how this goes. All these weird last-minute decisions. You had Rodgers last night sitting on the sideline and calling out plays. He's the reason why Zach Wilson got that long bomb and then did nothing else. I really think he's going to get cut midseason, to be honest. I think Zach Wilson's gone. Just being honest with you. But how about Thomas? Was it Thompson? Thomas Robinson. I think it's Thomas Robinson, or I could be wrong. Either way, he came in after Kellen Mond and crushed it. I was absolutely surprised, and I like what I've seen out there in the field. I'm sure a lot of the Browns fans did as well. So if Deshaun obviously has some issues, you guys definitely have some more firepower back there. Obviously, he still needs a little bit of more, development. It's early. It's preseason. It's going to be way different from the regular season. But, hey, he looks promising. So with the right development, the right coaching, I could definitely see him being good in the league. I think we throw around that great word too much. He could be good. There's a lot to be great, without a doubt. So, yeah. All right. So we obviously did the poll. The poll was, did you enjoy the Jets and Browns? 89% of you guys said yes. And I'm glad you did. We had a great time. And I enjoyed it. It was good to be back in front of the mic, in front of the camera with you guys. Always a good time. Always a fun time. And I will be looking forward to keeping it going. You guys know how we do. Every night we'll keep the news rolling. Right? Keep the news rolling. And then we'll mix in, or we'll keep the streams going for the games, and then we'll mix in the news as we go. And then obviously we'll be getting into the regular season. Monday night, prediction videos, power rankings. Thursday night, getting into Sunday, all that stuff. You guys know how we do. So we'll keep it rocking. And let's go. Shout out to Sheila, says, Jay, I hit no by mistake. Tennessee Tactical says, Jay, Kamara, suspension 3 games. Yeah, I actually I dropped that news in the beginning. So yeah, I dropped that at the beginning. But shout out to you, man. So, yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday. Shout out to you, Bob. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday. So, obviously go out, enjoy yourself. If you do go out, have a drink, enjoy responsibly, right? Don't drink and drive. Get you an Uber or have a DD, a designated driver. Or if you just want to sit in the house and watch Netflix and cuddle up with your favorite person, that's fine too. You don't got to go out and spend all kinds of money just to have fun. You can relax at home. That's probably what I'm going to do. I'm getting old. Have a good weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to the Wrench Gang. Shout out to all the listeners, all the watchers. Shout out to the family. I love all you guys. Have a great night. See you soon.